Welcome everyone to a Warhammer Underworlds tournament report, the Benelux Clash Edition 2. This has to be the first international tournament I'm actually playing for Underworlds, in the last month of the first edition to boot. As the 3rd of November I journeyed with Team Antwerp to the vicinity of Rotterdam. Here the second edition of the Benelux Clash took place, the first one falling in the water for most Belgians due to being organized on election day this year. And in Belgium voting unfortunately is mandatory, even though even at time of recording we're 150 days further and we still don't have a government, so that world record of 500, we're going for it again. But arriving at the venue, het Wapen van Alblasserdam in Alblasserdam near Rotterdam, there were 18 candidates for the glory, with 9 holding from the Netherlands, well technically 10, but the tournament organizers played as a tag team, and 9 Belgians. No Luxembourgians though to be spotted. Initially I wanted to take the Crimson Court combined with the Pass of Prophecy that you saw on this channel, but no matter what I tried I couldn't get it to work and it wasn't exciting. I then decided to go to Rodgorn's Man-Trappers with Breakneck Slaughter for some sheer pure brutality, and it played rather fun. But when the dust settled, after all the casual night testings, I just didn't get the right vibes for any of them, and ended up taking my Elatane Soul Raid with the Force of Frost after all. Old habits, great laughs, you know the mantra. My goals end in the top half of the table, and above the other Elatane Soul Raid warbands that I read about would be attending. Honor of the fish at stake. But of course, one cannot leave for a tournament without providing sustenance for the whole team. Running parallel with the event there was a Heresy 30k tournament taking place, organized by the local club, the Rotterdam White Scars. But with the lanyards for the participants divided and the briefing made, we were ready for 6 rounds of Underworlds, best of 1 in the Nemesis format. My first round put me against Simon from Halle, who brought his nicely converted Gnarl Spirit pact with Breakneck Slaughter. Unfortunately I lost 10 to 11 as I had to make a gamble in my last activation, move on an objective to draw thanks to my Chasm key, or take a guess on my objective cards. I had 3 remaining, I knew which ones, and 2 of them would win me the game because he was cursing that he probably wouldn't score anymore or not enough. So needless to say, I pulled the only one that wasn't suitable, Cold of the Void. Ah well, it happens. The second game was against Peter from Team Antwerp and our driver, with his Andara's Gravebreakers and Beastbound Assault. I lost heavily in this one with 6 to 13, being tabled in round 2 bar Spinefin. But a critical moment was when a wounded and trapped Verlaine made a critical save or he would be out. After that save, he could start a reaction of attacking with every Zandara attack, and he munched, pun intended, through my warband instead. Nothing to do, it was a deserved win for Peter. The prize support had been brought to the table in the meantime, with certificates and accompanying medals for the top 3, best painted and best sportsmanship. The winner would also receive an Emberguard box donated by their sponsor TTK upon the release, back then 2 weeks. Furthermore, the top 4 in painting would receive the special giant card for multiplayer games from the first edition, and to be honest, if you look at the rules it should be able to be transferred to second, while the person ending last would take home a set of inspiration tokens for his models. All participants also received a die 6. And here is a small clip of all the warbands, because we did the voting during the lunch, or well, before the lunch actually, put their warbands out for the display. Not everyone did it, because not every warband was painted. But here you have a nice overview of some of the warbands. And yes, those are the Zandara Gravebreakers featured last week on the Games Workshop Hobby Hangout channel, painted by Peter that had trashed me mere moments ago. Lunch consisted of chicken satay with fries and veggies, and a Hertog Jan to wash away the disappointing result start of the day. And then we were off to a hopefully more successful second part of the day, with still 4 games remaining and the realization I had that if I wanted to make my goal I needed to win them all. I started out as such at the total rock bottom table. Yeah, My oh-so I won 2 tournaments with this deck has fallen so low. Facing Yakko with Skabbix Plague Pack, coupled with Breakneck Slaughter. This was okay in my book, a warband I didn't fear at all from past experiences, and a swift 13-7 was scored. Honor at least would be saved for today. Next, I faced Peter, again from our Antwerp team, so that's the second Peter you often see popping up in my battle reports, with a Hungering Parasite Skittershank Claw Pack, a band I had real problems with in the preparation phases. But he also wasn't having a good day hovering in the bottom regions. The game ended in a 15-15, but I drew because I snuck Furen with her Chasm Key onto an objective in the last activation, meaning that I drew on glory points, but I won on the tiebreaker as I had an objective and he held none, circumventing this hard cliff on my hopefully way further up. Another familiar face in the next round as I went against Wouter from Team Antwerp. So I only missed Michael and I went at a full car. And he had the Tricefold Discord boosted with the Force of Frost. I scored a 12-10 win, and there was this hilarious moment at the end of round 1 we realized that he had 4 objectives in hand. Neither of us had noticed, and yet he still couldn't score one of them. A fun battle, and at the end of the tournament I gave my sportsmanship vote to Wouter, as this was the most hilarious game of the day for me, and not only for the above reason. So my final game, now standing at a 3-2, I would win at least 50% today, was against Nico and his Exiled Dead with Beastbound Assault. I saw Nico play the band last week in our weekly gatherings, didn't face him myself, and that the warband is a glory scoring machine. But a small mistake from his side after I took out his apprentice Markov allowed me to reach and take out his Dauntless in activation 2 of round 2. He just moved his zombies with the Dance Macabre a little step forward, and that gave me the hole for my, in round 2, 5 movement elves to snuck through and take down the vampire. It left it a shambling horde and no threat anymore, netting a 16-7 victory. The setup picture, however, was too shabby to use, but I'll come back to his warband in a moment. So, there was 6 rounds of Warhammer Underworlds, and I didn't take any pictures during the battles for, you know, the rhythm and everything. And I was still amazingly fresh in the head. I had feared mental tiredness kicking in around round 4, but it all kept clear and working, and I netted a 4-2-0 with 72 glory points. In the end, this gained me an 8th place. Games against each other's were tiebreaker, the first tiebreaker, so that's why 2 people with less glory ended above me. It's a computer thing, I don't mind, we end where we end. Reaching my objective of the top half was scored, and I jumped over the other Soul Raid player in the final round, so both tournament goals achieved. And then it was time for the 2 excellent organizers and World Championship qualifiers Valentin and Jan Willem, who ran the tournament together with Taz and Peter to start the award ceremony under the listening ears and intense gazes of the people present. Tim from Team Halle came as Best Sportsmanship Award winner. Then, and this was a bit of a personal shock, as during the top 4 of the painting I was actually called forward in 3rd place. My pink fish seemingly drew some votes and I was genuinely amazed considering I even left Peter Zandara behind me. What amazed me especially even more was that right before the ceremony, during the break, at the smokestack outside, we had a discussion about painting styles, and I told people, in all honesty, I never make any illusions, because my drawing lines kind of painting style of inspired by Kevin Delamore 25 plus years ago is out of date. Well, it's still suitable for historical miniature games where you have to paint lots of rank and file, and not suitable for flashy fantasy miniatures with a lot of details. But yeah, 3rd place, so I won the card. But remember how I would come back to the Exiled Dead. Well, Nico won the Best Painted award. He had my vote as well, with his lovely warband. So here is a better picture of them than what is a setup picture that could have done them justice. The inspirational prize for finishing last went to Steven with perhaps the most hardcore warband present. The still not painted after 7 years original badasses of Garrick's Reavers. I was a fan for sure for him. And then we went to the top spots of the tournament. In 3rd place, normally the tag team of Valentin and Willy ended, so their spot shifted 1 down. This meant Kevin with his Gore Chosen of Drum took home the bronze medal. 2nd place went to Joop, who had brought Domitan Stormcoven to the event. But finally, the winner of the Benelux Clash II, Vincent from Team Hollow with his headcrack as Mad Mob, scoring a massive 110 glory and also the only player to get in the triple digest on glory scoring today. So thanks again for the Dutch community for organizing this great day in a lovely setting, and next edition I will certainly be back. So ended the saga of Elefaine's Soul Raid with Forza Frost, and for the many the first edition of Warhammer Underworlds after 7 years of fun and games. I am running a Lost Huzzah myself for the system the 23rd of November, a week after the release of the second edition, at the Tin Soldiers of Antwerp Clubhouse, but I'll wave out the first edition there with my Dread Pageant. So for those looking for still a few casual final tournament games, you can still go to T3 and register there to participate. Won't be as luxuriously though, because our clubhouse is being rumored to be a sole survivor of the Slag van Acre in 1703. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again with the next report. Bye bye.